Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's the day. Today's the day I pick up the Kona electric from my main dealer in Norwich. So what's the plan? The plan today is we walk to the train station, we catch the train into the centre of Norwich, and then from there we either walk or take the bus to the edge of Norwich by Norwich Airport, and we're going to pick up the car. So once the handover's done, and I think the salesman will explain the detail of the car to me, if they actually know all of the features and functions of the car, then as soon as that's all done, we get to drive away. And the plan is for me to do a test drive on the way home. So I want to film and show to you my first drive in the car, the very first moments I'm driving away, and treat it as a test drive quite objectively. And I want to specifically answer the question of, if I tested the Zoe, the Leaf and the i3 specifically and the Ioniq, and yet I chose the Kona based on never having seen it, and chose it on the specifications I saw online, pictures I saw online, and then the test drive I did on the petrol Kona, I want to answer the question as to whether I did the right thing or not in ordering the Kona based on that information, not ever having seen or tested a real one. So with that in mind, the test drive is going to be as close as I can to try and look objectively at the car and compare it to the things that put me off buying the Zoe, the Leaf and the i3, to see whether those things have come true and my reasoning and justification for buying the Kona feels right to me. Again, we can go all the way back to the start of my journey. This is my opinion, my thoughts and what works for me. And that doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. So with that in mind, I'm answering the question of whether I've done the right thing for me, and my decision to buy the Kona blind has actually been a good thing and has worked. But I'll want to test all sorts of things: the handling, the interior feel, the steering, the acceleration, the regen braking, and if I get a chance then the efficiency as well. But this is only a first drive, a first test drive, and depending on how much time I get after finishing up with the dealer, depends on how long the actual test drive video can actually be. So that's the plan today, and one of the odd things about this morning is that I'm actually not feeling very excited. It's rather strange that I'm spending the most money I've ever spent on a car. It's an electric car. I don't know whether it's the nervous anticipation of what am I doing, going electric rather than ice, or whether it's the amount of money I'm spending. There's something that's not quite normal. When I normally buy a car, I'm quite excited, but I feel quite objective about this. It's almost as if it's not real, it's not happening. Now that could be because I do these videos and I look at electric cars quite objectively in reviewing them. So maybe that's taken away some of the emotional side on how I should view the purchase of the car. But irrespective, yeah, I am looking forward to having the car, but I suppose I want to get the process over, and I want to get the test out of the way and all those things, and start to appreciate owning the car. And for the reviews for these videos, well, I suppose I need to find out the stuff anyway as to how it works, and I want to find out how efficient it is and all the different charging options. So I want to do those things anyway, so it won't hurt for me to video them and share them with you. But it does feel a little odd that here I am, I'm supposed to be going to collect the car, and I feel more like it's a test drive. I don't feel like it's this wonderful magical moment that I'm now picking up my new car. So yeah, feeling a little apprehensive, I suppose, at the moment. So anyway, here we go. It's time to shoot off and go and see the dealer. Okay, so there we are. We've just picked the car up. This is the first time I've ever driven it, first time I've sat in the Kona Electric, and first time I've actually seen the car as well live. So yeah, it's a big moment. But this is basically a test drive. I'm going to treat this as. So comparing to the previous test drives that I've done, I must confess, this car feels how I wanted it to feel, on the quality, on the smoothness. When I got into the Nissan Leaf, something just didn't feel quite right. I didn't feel at home. I honestly believe that that's something to do with Nissan cars, the Japanese cars. You're either familiar with Japanese cars and you're comfortable with it because you've had them before, or you're not. And I've never had one before, so I think I'm that sort of person that's more used to Fords and Vauxhalls, and Nissans just feel a little different. This to me feels, yeah, not Japanese, it feels more European. And what's my initial thoughts? Yeah, I've literally just driven from the showroom. You can really feel the performance. And does it feel heavy? My initial thought is, no it doesn't. It feels solid. It doesn't feel like a boat like Bjorn was describing so far. My absolute first impression, it feels really light on the steering and feels good. Yeah, nice and solid. There's quite a few things to say that I've been sat in the showroom thinking about and listening on the setup. My first thoughts and worries were on the reverse, neutral, drive and parking buttons. In the pictures they look a little bit plasticky, but actually in reality, when you're selecting them, they're actually nice and solid and firm. So everything's got a quality feel to it and a solid feel to it. So far so good. Very, very impressed. Again, I haven't set the Regen. I have no idea what the Regen is set to at the moment. So yeah, my instant feeling is the steering feel feels nice and small and sporty. The seats are as I remembered them in the Kona Petrol, extremely comfortable. Very, very happy with that. What else can I tell you about? Oh, well, the dealer cocked up with the charging. I asked them to charge it to 80% and not above, and lo and behold, the dealer doesn't know anything about charging electric cars, so they thought you could plug it in an hour later it'd be charged. Whoa, this has got some poke. Yeah, okay, so you can really feel it's 200 horsepower. But that was interesting just straight away. But back on the charging, yeah. So the dealer's charged this over 3 days and only managed to get it to 62%, because they've only got 7 kilowatt chargers there at the garage. So I've just been having a chat with the dealer, basically telling that if they don't improve their infrastructure, they won't have the capacity to charge customers' cars for servicing and for new cars being picked up and their demonstrators when they eventually get them. So with only 2 7 kilowatt chargers there and batteries being as large as 64 kilowatts, they need something that charges them faster. So I don't think they quite understand the whole issue yet about if they're going to electrify more cars, they're going to have to charge them a lot. So that's why my car's not at 80% charged like I was hoping for. But today's test isn't going to be about, well, I said it's not going to be about economy, but I'm supposed to be testing this according to the others, aren't I? So I'll try to do an economy drive. My first thoughts on acceleration. So yeah, I'm doing 34 at the moment, so if I just put my foot down, that is as good as the i3 in acceleration, if not a little bit better, in my opinion, on how it feels. But it hasn't got the jerkiness. That acceleration was smoother. So the on and off of throttle was automatically smoother, in my opinion, to the i3. So a much smoother delivery of that performance. So we're coming up to some dual carriageway and roundabouts, and this is where I've been doing my test. That in the Nissan Leaf, I really wasn't happy with the steering. Was very, very slight, so any movement at all in the actual car moved. There wasn't any play on the steering at all. Where I like it, if you go over a bump, your steering doesn't move, but it still feels tight, and that's exactly how this is. It does have a quite sporty feel to the steering, very firm and confident. Immediately, I've only driven on 2 roads, I'm already feeling confident with its handling. And yeah, it's handling this roundabout lovely. It's going around really smooth. So power delivery, on how it delivers and the handling, my instant thought is this feels how I wanted it to feel. When I drove the petrol Kona, it felt really, really nice, and that's what convinced me to go for a Kona, because of how it drove compared to the Leaf, and this hasn't disappointed. I would say it's got the same sportiness. I'm extremely pleased, in fact, based on that. You know, when Bjorn tested it and said it was a bit of a boat and wallowed a little bit, I'm not sure if he used that exact word, but that was the expectation. I was a little bit concerned it wouldn't feel the way the petrol one did, but it does. It feels exactly the same. It does feel a little heavier, but not massively. I think that heaviness equates to solidness. We just had a small bump in the road there, and yeah, nice and soft. There wasn't a lump like in the Fiesta at all, so it's extremely comfortable, soft, handles extremely well around that roundabout, and it's got some really nice acceleration there, so that's very nice. You can hear the motor whine as well, can't you? Okay, so that's interesting. I can feel it moving, the steering. It's you can see it. It's moved away from it. So that's my first experience of lane keep assist. I'm not steering, and it is steering for me.
Wow, that's spooky.
Yeah, but that's because we're on a corner, that's going left and right and ping-ponging, so that must be lane keep assist that's on, not lane follow assist. So anyway, I'll reset that another time. So what else can I do for the test drive on comparisons? Yeah, the Nissan Leaf, one of the things I really didn't like about it was the centre console. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I'm tapping the console where my leg is, and the Nissan Leaf one came out at an angle and it was hard plastic. I was worried about the Kona and this big centre area, whether it would interfere with my leg and feel uncomfortable, and it doesn't. No, and it's a flat area. It might be hard plastic, but it's quite flat, so your leg goes against it quite comfortably, and your bottom half of your leg actually it goes against a different plastic material that's quite comfortable. It's still hard, but it's comfortable. So no, there's nothing in the way on my leg. So again, one of the reasons for choosing the Kona was the interior over the Leaf. There's something about it that I don't like it. The plastics in there might appear to be softer and therefore better quality, but I actually think they're not better quality. Okay, let's have a blast from this one.
Feels like we're going to take one of those sides.
We've just blown everything away. That's unbelievably quick. So again, test drive wise, what else have I been interested in? Well, the efficiency. I managed probably over a 50-mile journey. I managed to get over 5 miles per kilowatt hour out of both the Zoe and the i3 and the Leaf as well, the 40 kilowatt hour Leaf. So long as I can get over 5 miles per kilowatt hour in my normal driving around Norfolk, I will be happy. I'm actually not worried about that at all, because after seeing Bjorn's videos, I'll have no problem in doing that. The car's currently showing 3.8, so that's just with me coming out of the garage and playing with the accelerator a little bit. So, alright, so that's off. So that's coasting. So regen coasting, 1, 2. Alright, so 3 is, yeah, okay, so the regen levels, that's really nice. Now you can turn them off easily, and the regen paddles, shifters, are very, very close to your hand, so they're intuitive. That's very nice. You stay where you are, Mr. Tractor. Thank you. But yeah, that cornering off the roundabout as I hit a corner and then accelerate. In the Nissan Leaf, I felt a lightness on the front and the steering was just a bit vague. So that wasn't good at all. Not for me. Some people might not notice it or didn't think it was an issue, but for me, I didn't like it. This is nice and solid off the corner, so you can actually feel that you can accelerate on the corner. Now I know some people have asked about torque steer, so let's see. We're doing 50 miles an hour. hands off the steering wheel, accelerate. Nothing. No torque steer off the front at all. So let's try again. Put down to a 40 miles an hour, so let's start from a slower speed. Hands off the wheel. No, there's no aggressive torque steer on it at all. So I'm not quite sure why that's been reported in some of the media reports. Nothing noticeable at all. That was extremely comfortable. Wow, Regen level 3. That's pretty good. This is nice. You know, I might not get very good performance out of this because it's too much fun. Yeah, one of the reasons, like I said, the big reason why I wanted the Kona. Well, yeah, let's go through the list. The i3 was interesting and lovely on the inside, but it was very wobbly and jerky, and I didn't feel smooth. Felt a bit top heavy. I just didn't like the drive in it, and Susan didn't especially. It made her feel slightly sick in it. So for us, the i3 was a no based on how it drove. The Zoe was clearly to me a city car. It didn't do the job of being a long distance cruiser that I could go on tour in Europe and stuff like that with, and it was too tinny. So the quality just wasn't there. So the car wasn't right for me based on those things. The Nissan Leaf, the 40 kilowatt hour, well, the battery was too small. Only did 150 to 180 miles maximum on a charge, and that's not enough for me. But I didn't like the interior trim, and yeah, the stability and the performance actually on the road was what I really didn't like about the car. It was nice just cruising and driving slowly, but any time you wanted to be assertive, I wouldn't say it felt out of control, but it just wasn't. What's the word? It wasn't locked on with you. It wasn't. You didn't feel connected to it. It was a slight disconnection that the car wasn't quite doing everything you wanted. This Kona, no. It's got the comfort, the luxury, the build quality is way better than the Zoe from memory. And to me, this feels better quality than the Leaf. Now, yeah, that's going to be perhaps a subjective issue, like I started with. That, you know, Beyond always talks about he actually thinks the Leaf has better quality interior than the Kona, where I don't think so. I think this feels better quality to me. This doesn't feel as good quality as a Golf, I must confess, and I think that's to do with the choice of plastics. They are softer on the Golf, so it feels better. Yeah, another Hyundai. There's Hyundais everywhere. What's that, an iX35 or something?
Yeah. Is that telling you how far it is to the next charging point?
I don't know. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I've got the heads-up display on, and yeah, it's really nice. I haven't actually looked at the speedo on the dash. I wouldn't have a clue where it is. I'm just using the heads-up display, and it's intuitive. So do I like this big centre console? What do you think, Susan? Do you like it or don't you? It's in there.
I do. I like all the space to store things.
It's spacious.
Yeah.
It's spacious. So when I first turned up at the dealership, one of the things I thought was, oh my god, what am I buying this for? It's really small. The first time I've seen this car live in the flesh, it does look smaller, in my opinion, in this colour than the petrol Kona that sat in the showroom. It actually looked bigger. So the Kona itself, to me, looked bigger, but in real life, when I got to see this in the ceramic blue, it actually looked small, and I can't work out what it is. It feels small, but it feels big at the same time.
It doesn't drive small.
No, I really like the size of this. So for me, yes, I could have a bigger car, but I don't want or need a bigger car. This feels right to me. I actually feel quite low down. I've got my seat very low down at the moment, so that's probably part of the reason I'm in quite a sporty position sat in the car. Right, the miles per kilowatt hour, we're up to 4.1 now, but this is nowhere near indicative of a decent journey, so I may well have to do a separate test. In fact, I'm definitely going to have to. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the beeps. Yeah. That was it telling me that there was there was another car in the way. So there you go, there was a test of the anti-collision warning on the mirrors. The level, I must be on level 3 regen here at the moment, because just coming to a stop there, I was hardly touching the brake at all. It very much was 1 foot, 1 pedal driving. In fact, yeah, that... When I drove the BMW i3, I could describe that I sensed a resistance in the car, as if it was attempting to recharge all the time. On this highest level of recharge, it feels the same. Yeah, now if I click it onto 2, now the car feels freer again. So yeah, when it's on the highest level of regen, I can feel that same amount of resistance that I could sense in the i3 when I was driving the i3 on the test. But in 2, I can't feel that. And in 1, yeah, it's just coasting now. So it's not coming to a stop at all. So that was one of the reasons why I chose the Kona over the other electric options, that I liked the option of changing the regen as I'm driving and to do it really easy. On the Leaf there was just the brake pedal to do it manually. On the gear selector you'd pull it back for B and it would start doing the regen manually. Otherwise it would do it on E pedal for you or do it automatically, and that, you know, the level that it did is the level that you got. I much prefer the flexibility of having it how I want it. So on a motorway I might well have it in coasting mode, so no regen, so that I'm being more efficient and coasting more, whereas city driving I'm going to want probably regen 3 so it comes to a stop better on its own, so I can do more comfortable 1 foot driving around the city. So have I made a mistake buying this Kona? Probably, because it's so much money. I can't describe how many I don't know about sleepless nights, but worrying thoughts I've had about what the hell am I doing paying this much money for a car. I know some people out there don't think anything of spending 30-odd thousand pounds on a car, but to me this is probably near 2 to 3 times what I would normally pay for a car. But is it worth it? From the perspective of not being able to get anything like this without spending that much money, yes it is, because this driving experience is what I wanted. After test driving all the cars to produce the videos for yourselves, so it's all your fault as to why I've gone electric, I have sort of become addicted to wanting the electric car, and from the moment I pulled out of the dealership in this, it's actually felt quite intuitive. In all the test drives that I've done so far, I've been really nervous of pulling away, and you know, is my foot on the brake, is it on the throttle, will it creep forward, all of those sort of things, that little anxiousness about what's the car going to do and how do I drive it. Well, actually I've just got straight into this and it's felt comfortable straight away. Wow, that's clever. The speed limit sign that's on the front dash literally changed the moment we crossed the line. It's extremely accurate on picking up speed signs. So again, I can't really comment on range and battery and that sort of thing at the moment, basically because the car wasn't full enough charged. But have I got any range anxiety? Not at all. I mean, it was charged at somewhere between 50 and 60%, and it's 160, 170 miles. It's absolutely loads. And currently the the miles per kilowatt hour are going up. It's at 4.5 at the moment, and we started out about 3.3. So let's see if we can do a test on holding the paddle. I'm coming up to these traffic lights. Let's keep going, and now pull the paddle and keep pulling it to an absolute stop. That's nice. That's nice. So yeah, pulling the regen paddle on and keeping it on brings the car to a complete stop on the paddle. Oh, look at that auto hold. That's nice. That's nice. So the auto hold button there was something that the salesman was demonstrating to me or telling me about in the car. So normally you're driving, you come up to the traffic lights, if you take your foot off the throttle, because it's an auto, it will creep forward, where with auto hold, your foot off the throttle, you don't need to have the park on, it will hold it still where it is. So yeah, auto hold. I think I'll use that on. That was very nice. No, I mean, how much bias is there? You know, because I'm buying the car and I bought it. This is now mine. How much bias is there? How objective am I being? And it's something I've been talking about, that while travelling up here to collect the car, I haven't been that excited about picking it up. And it's a bizarre scenario that because I'm doing these videos, I've been quite objective about the car, and it's almost like I'm turning up for a test drive. It's hard to have convinced myself that I'm actually picking up a brand new car, the most expensive one I've ever bought, and I'm only starting to appreciate that now. One of the things that annoyed me on, say, the Renault Zoe was the VSS noise. So I'm doing under 19 miles an hour now. Right, so with the button illuminated, the noise is on. I can just about hear it. There's a conker hitting the roof. But it's not as intrusive as the Zoe one. The soundproofing must be better. Oh, there's the first look of admiration from a young lad. What was that? So yeah, the VSS noise is, I don't know, it's not metallic-y, it's not science fiction-y, it's just a
mechanical noise. It's to an electrical noise.
yeah, I think it's less annoying than the Zoe one, but you can also not hear it very much. So
That's good.
it's much better. And for the Zoe again, the doors were really tinny when you shut them. These have got nice clunks to them. So all the things that I thought made my decision to buy the Kona over all the other cars have so far been proven true. I wasn't wrong in any way from the research I did. So one of the big questions is, can you test a petrol Kona and get an impression about the Kona itself, the electric version? So can you test the petrol and make a decision as to whether you would buy the electric? And the answer is yes. I think the interior quality of this is better than the Premium SE of the petrol version. So if you like the Premium SE Kona in petrol, you would like this electric version. Performance wise, well, it's a lot better performing than the petrol version. So but yeah, it does steer and handle just as well. So as I was saying at the beginning, we haven't got a lot of time actually. We set off to do the pickup at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and by the time we had taken the train and done some walking to get to the dealership and having the handover and taking a little bit of filming for this video, the time's now, it's 5 to 4, so I haven't really got a lot of time to finish the video, so this is only going to be a short initial test drive.
Very good first impression.
Okay, here we are, we're back home again. And how did that go? Well, the car's safely parked on the driveway, it's charging up. Everything worked fine. I unlocked the Zappy charger, set the charge limit on the car to 80%, in that I don't want to charge over 88% for tonight. So I'll just keep the car at 80, and then first thing in the morning I'll charge it further, and that's basically where we are. But yeah, the car's home, it's on the driveway. How do I feel? Yeah, the initial thoughts when I first saw the car is, ooh, I don't know if I like the colour. It's, from some angles it's green, and I quite like that, that's okay, but it's the light bluish colour, when it goes grey blue in some lights, I'm not so keen on it. When the light shines brilliantly on it, it's very metallic blue. I really like the colour. But over the last hour or two that I've actually had the car, the colour's actually grown on me, and I would probably say the interior of the car has pleased me more than the exterior of the car. It's staggering when it was in the showroom next to the Tucson on how big the Tucson is, but no, how small the Kona is. So it's a really weird thing that when I drove the Kona petrol, it seemed larger than the electric one that I've got, even though I know the electric is slightly bigger, only marginally, but it is slightly longer. It's really deceiving. Now, whether that's a colour thing, that mine in metallic ceramic blue actually looks smaller, but yeah, it's a small looking car, and it's not a big giant car like a Tucson. So those people that are hoping to get an SUV, no, it's not. It's just Golf size. It's quite a small compact car. Now that suits me because I don't need all of that space. Space in the back, well, we'll cover that in a separate video and work out what you can and can't do with all that space. But for me, it's not too tall, so it doesn't feel like a full-blown SUV, and when it drives, it's not wobbly because all the weight is low down, so I quite like that. We've been driving a Renault Capture lately, and that's actually extremely similar sizes to the Kona, but it drives completely differently. There isn't such low down weight, and you can really feel the difference. That low down weight distribution in the Kona electric makes it feel much more sporty, and it's a much more solid feeling car. So comparing the Renault Captur size-wise and feel-wise to the Hyundai Kona, the Kona is a much more solid, firm, sporty car. Still really soft on the suspension, which is another thing to say. Yeah, really pleased with the ride quality. But the first thought was it was smaller than I was thinking. So was I disappointed? I suppose I was. In that very first moment of seeing it, I expected it to be bigger. And that's isn't that a common thing, eh? But am I happy? Yes, I am. I haven't had a chance to test everything, to drive everything, but all of the things that I've talked about in the test drive, in summary when I've got home, it does feel like all the things I was hoping the electric would be, it is. It does handle really well. It's firm and sporty, yet also soft and compliant. The seats are extremely comfortable, as I was hoping they would be. The switchgear inside all feels solid. It's not really plasticky and cheap. And I don't want to put people off on the Nissan Leaf, but that's how it felt to me. More plasticky, and not as bad as perhaps the Renault. The Renault switchgear I think is even worse. But the Hyundai, yeah, it's really good quality switchgear. I quite like it. Everything feels solid, sounds solid, and just feels right to me. It's quite a bizarre feeling that pulling away from the showroom and driving over two roads, the car just felt like mine instantly. It felt, I felt connected with it. I felt it was a car suited to me, where some of the other electric cars that I've driven, I haven't felt that connection. I haven't felt as at one with the car. But first impressions are extremely good. Yeah, performance, that's a big one for me. It's got that real fun feeling to it, and I would say it's better than all the ones I've tested. Yes, you've got that sharp acceleration that you've got in an i3, but it was smoother and more solid. Now, whether that's because the car's heavier, I'm not quite sure. But the mixture of how solid it was, and thank God, no torque steer. The tests I did, definitely no torque steer that I could see on that, and I was putting foot flat down. So maybe the torque steer from actually pulling away, I'm not sure, we'll test that, but pulling away at 40, 50, 60, those sort of speeds, no torque steer at all. How did the handover go? That is a good one. The salesman, yeah, he actually knew his stuff. I've got to give it to Peter. He explained the car to me in quite thorough detail. Now, yes, a lot of the media side of it and the sat-nav side to it and some of the features are all very similar to some of the other Hyundais they sell. So, yeah, that side went really well, but he knew enough about the lane keep assist and the active cruise control and the charging features. He'd looked into quite a few of them, so he'd done his homework and he knew enough to get me away. But the actual logistics of owning an EV and how to charge it in preparation for the customer, no, they didn't know. They've got a lot to learn in that respect. So yes, I'm really happy with the car. I'm disappointed how long it took. 9:30 we left the house in the morning. We got to the dealer for 12 o'clock, 12:30, but this is where it goes. We're doing these videos for you. There was a lot of time filming and a lot of time prepping, and it's surprising how long it all takes. And by the time we did the handover, there wasn't a lot of time to do a long test drive, so I haven't driven it anywhere near as far as I'd hoped, and we haven't done as full a test as I'd like. And economy-wise, yeah, I think we're up to 4.8, 4.9 miles per kilowatt hour, and I did not try at all. So in my actual test drives of the i3, the Leaf and the Zoe, I tried reasonably hard over 50 miles to see what I could get, and my gut feel, just from that really small 15-mile trip or whatever it was that I've just taken, it seemed to clock up to close to 5 miles per kilowatt hour much easier, and I was trying the acceleration much more than I did in the other cars. So initial indications, yeah, really good. So yeah, very happy. So basically, I'd better leave it there. I could wax lyrical and say how happy I am and tell you that I'm justified and I was right in my decision. I can tell you all of those things all night, but if I don't stop the video, then I can't edit it and get it online. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and there will be a lot of tests to come and a lot more detail. I've got no idea where to start. I just want to go out and start driving the car. So thank you for watching, thanks for sharing the journey, and I hope you continue to watch. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There will be a lot of videos coming out soon, and I can't wait to share the car with you. Take care for now. Bye bye.